Oh, it really feels beautiful to be doing practice with you all. It's so nice. It's something, it's just a new normal, so this is your first time experiencing classes in a day long. I hope you're enjoying it. This is probably how we're going to be for the rest of the year, friends. This is it as centers and community spaces. We just don't know when it's going to be back online. This could be a while. So we're making the most of it. And I'm actually really enjoying it. I plan to practice with you. I wasn't going to run off on all the activity parts. I'm actually doing it and trying to really embody it. I need it as much as you do. So I want to just take a little time here to offer a Dharma talk and some Dharma sharing. And, our schedule is a little bit flowy. In South America, we're always running behind. It's just a thing with South. I think I've been living there too much. It's like, yeah, the schedule. But we're going to try to break for lunch on time. So no worries about that. But we're being a little more fluid. But I do want to offer some teachings on resiliency and what does that mean, and how do we embody that right now, and how do we navigate all of the waves that are coming? As I mentioned last night, this year, we don't know what's going to happen with the virus as things seem to be growing in the US around cases, and that's a reality that we're just navigating. And then also we have this election that is looming in a very short period of time. And we just know the energies that are going to be amplified in the next couple of months, right? As we approach that. So we have a lot of time to practice being resilient right now. I mean, this is really it. In the midst of so much uncertainty. And you will, as we talked about last night, all of us are experiencing a lot of ups and downs. One day we're on top of it, we accept it. All right, I'm rising. And then the next day we're flattened, or we're in bed, we're overwhelmed. We just don't even want to come outside. We don't want to look around, and also just the awkwardness of the social distancing. It's not how we live. We don't live with masks and gloves on, and we're not, people are frightened and they're not themselves. We're not ourselves. The whole world is just kind of in this contraction period, and I feel that honestly, energetically, especially in the US, there's an underworld. That's like we've sunk into the underworld, and the underworld archetypally, I just want to say, is a good place. It's a place where we have to go. We have to rescue parts of ourselves. And I think we'll have to do that as this nation will have to reconcile itself, right? What are the real values here? There's definitely kind of like, I'm going to say, yeah, it's a little schizophrenic. And, we got two wolves here fighting it out, right? Which wolf is going to win, right? And that's what we talked about a little bit last night. And so we're in the midst of that. Even the astrology, everyone, it's 3 retrogrades right now. Do you know when planets are retrograde? You know what that means? 3 big planets are in retrograde. Saturn, which is a huge, ethics, integrity. That's what Saturn rules. 3 planets in retrograde is pretty historic. You know what that means? We're going backwards. We're going into the karmic vaults. Pandora's boxes are being flung open. So this is just energetically, even the stars are preparing for this. We're not moving so much into this phase. We're going back. We have to reconcile everything that has not been in alignment in our lives. And that means as a global world. This is not just one person. This is like the macro level, okay? Like, the stars are moving in that direction, right? This is happening. And so how do we stay resilient? And so let's talk a little bit about resiliency. So it's the ability to withstand. That's one translation of it. To withstand, to recover from situations. So this ability to be recovering fast, right? Changing circumstances. right? It's like dancing and then, the beat's changing. It's like, oh, you thought it was this, now it's that. Yeah. It's like there's something right now that you can't really go to sleep, anybody. This is not, because you'll wake up and the whole thing's different again. And it's like every day is a new normal. And I myself, this is why I felt this title was so good, because right now I'm in an Airbnb and I've been moving to Airbnb route, trying to find a route, right? Where do I want to live? I was supposed to be in South America. That changed. So I'm back in the US, back in at least North America. I was going to be in South America. So now I'm dancing, I'm with a friend and we're like, should we do this? Should we do that? And every day we laugh because we wake up, we have an idea. Yes, that's so. And the next day we're like, well, yeah, maybe not. And we're just like, we're trying to find our ground, and it's just quicksand, not quicksand, but it's shifting all the time. And so I've gotten really good at recovering, because as my Capricorn nature, I'm somebody that likes a plan. I'll walk to the end of straight up the mountain for it. So all of this change has been really, really challenging. And so I'm always dancing. Where am I now? Where's my stuff? I got to get that. That's over here. My mother wants to leave her husband. She's in crisis. This person's, and it's like every day it's a new storyline that feels like, what? And then by the end of the day, I digest it and we're like, we got this. This is the new normal. So raise your hand if you've been experiencing these things. Like, are you with me? Is anyone noticing this? Right? Relationships right now, either you're getting married or it's over big time. It's like done deal, get me out of this. What was I thinking? Right? So it'll bring you closer together than you ever thought. It's true love, right? I see some thumbs up there. And this is Dan, Vanessa. I see ya. Or you're planning on, that's it, it's done, and that's okay too. Wherever you are in that spectrum, it's change. That's what this is brought us. Change every day. And I feel like as a world, as a society, that's all that's on the news is change, right? Because we can't even predict a month from now. Will we be back at EBMC? Who knows? Will there be a vaccine? We don't know. Will this happen? We don't know. Is the economy going to collapse? I don't know. Are we going to have, are the stores going to have, it's like we're navigating this kind of flux. And the resilient part is our ability to recover. So I looked up the word resilient, and the Latin word means to rebound. I like that word. Rebound, right? It's like you throw me on, give me all these things, and I make a comeback. I rebound again and again. You throw this in there, this happens. Okay, it's shifting. So really right now, and I'm going to talk about these 5 ways to work with resiliency a lot. How do we really navigate that? But it's the ability to be able to rebound into whatever situation that life is throwing you right now. Rather you have to move out of your place, or you have to find a whole new, for me, I have, the work that I do, I can't do right now. So I'm thinking, well, what else is there? It's like, oh, I have my whole life in this one direction with retreats. It's like, wow, well, what have I wanted to do that I didn't have time for, right? Because I had all these other plans. So we're rebounding our livelihoods. We're pulling, moving from this to this. A lot of people who have been reaching out to me, have lost jobs, and now they're on unemployment, and they're kind of happy about that part, because it's an opportunity to pivot to I didn't really want to do that anyway. So with all of this intensity coming out, our new path to who we really are, why am I here, right? What do I want to bring into this world? There's a lot of soul searching right now, a lot of reevaluation. This time is about thinking things out. What is important? What does a rebound look like? Everyone says, I want to go back to normal. There is no normal the way it was before. And frankly, I'm glad, you know. But what I do want to happen is a more compassionate system to emerge. That's what I'm clear about. I'm okay with the old system collapsing, but what is going to be born has to be an expression of more wisdom and compassion. You know, at least that's what I'm trying to rebound. That's what I want to bring into the community. So this ability to pivot, and our pivoting is going to have to come fast, right? We get taken down, but how fast do we get back up? And the Dharma is so great with that. What used to take me weeks to recover from, like, a betrayal or something, big crash, you know, it's moving faster now, right? It's like, okay, I can rebound. That's just the way it is. How quickly you rebound is how quickly you can let go. To let go of whatever the old plan was and let the universe make space for a new plan, right? And that's been my mantra too. Let go, the universe is in control, you know? And I say that, you know, as I chant a lot of times, you know? Uh, uh, yeah, just let it go, spring. It's not coming together, you know, and you could try to force the pieces, but you know, we have to go where there's flow. And when everything is collapsing, you know, there's a certain free fall effect right now that we have to kind of surrender to. You know, we're on a ride right now. This thing, you know, this is going in the history books. You know, every time I'm on a talk or a podcast with someone, they always say, it is May 16th, 2020. You know, like, it's like time capsuling right now. Like, for all the future people who are gonna, like, you know, we're all sort of in that mode. So that takes a kind of strength, doesn't it? Just to get by, just to keep it going, and not only to be resilient, but to come back to the heart again and again. It's resiliency with our practice. We don't give up on the Buddha Dharma Sangha, even though we're like, I want to throw this out, it's not working. Well, you know, I've had a lot of breakups with the Buddha in my life where I was done with it, done with the whole thing. And then I would come back, as always, a few days later, well, this is true, you know. So what did Gloria Steinem, her book was like, the truth will set you free, but it'll piss you off first. You know, you can't really learn about the Four Noble Truths without suffering. You know, we want to be free, but we don't want to let anything go. You know, it's like, can I take all this huge pile with me? No. You know, liberation is really about letting go, you know, and I think that this is the stage we're in. And I'm learning it every day. You know, every day I'm learning this letting go. And it's funny, it brings tears, it's everything. So with resiliency, right? New ways, this rebounding, this resiliency, the ability to rebound and recover. New plan today. Okay, this is all shut down. Where are we going now? All right, new map. Let's get the directions, you know, and how is that for you all? How do we respond to that? And I think our responses are getting better. I would say mine are. First, it was panic and resistance. And now I'm like, well, okay, there's a roadblock. We just have to go to this road now, you know, and I'm learning how to just dance with that. Okay, so I want to talk a bit about more about this resilient heart, more about the resilient mind. And I was thinking a lot, you know, when I try to rely on my Dharma roots, or when I come back to my Dharma roots, I always think about the lives of great masters and all the suffering that they've withstood, you know, like long retreats. And I think a lot about the Tibetans, because I just have a heart connection to Vajrayana Buddhism, and I'm a devoted disciple of the Dalai Lama, and the plight of the Tibetans and their ability to keep on standing strong for, you know, in the face of years of oppression and just, you know, genocide, and just keep holding on to these truths and to keep reinventing themselves, right? And to keep, not only did they were trying to be eradicated, but the whole Dharma flowered, you know. So what can flower for us here? Something good is going to come out of this. I know it for myself. It could be, as individuals, we become wiser, stronger, right? We grow, we define our values, what matters and what does not. I'll tell you, what doesn't matter is getting thrown out really quickly in my world. I mean, it's just narrowing down. Like, what was that was important? Not anymore. You know, it's just like the things that, you know, even I put my attention on that used to seem important for the day. It's like, yeah, this doesn't, you know, more important things for me is like housing, you know, where are we going to live, and not knowing in the unknown, but having resources to float, you know. So that's something. So the Tibetans often make me remember my roots. You know, I think about Harriet Tubman. I was watching her movie the other day. You should really watch that. Wow, what a powerful, resilient. I don't even know how, I was just bowing at some point. Harriet, how are you so strong? I don't get it. How are you able to deal with all this trauma and then come back? By the way, she was even fighting in the Civil War. I mean, this woman, these are our ancestors. These are I mean, I got, my sister and I were just like, so much strength came in that moment. It was like a transmission. Like, okay, you can get through this, you know. This woman was walking to Canada, you know. You can do this. You have this. And also, you know, our Dharma brothers and sisters, you know, people have withstood jail and uncertainty and pain, and we know that we can do this. I read this wonderful book a few years ago. I actually saw it on a video where Richard Gere was helping this Tibetan nun write her story about, and it's a story that's common. You know, she was in prison for years and tortured, and then finally walked over the Himalayas and almost died 5 times, and it's called Sorrow Mountain, but the end is very happy. You know, it's a happy story about her life, but her ability to keep going, you know. And then there's this ending where she's, you know, of course, welcomed by the Dalai Lama, and he's like holding her, and she finally makes it to freedom, you know, in Dharamsala. She finally gets out of prison, is able to reunite with her beloved teacher, and then practice. And not only that, stand up and tell her story, right? To use it as an inspiration. So these are the things that we find, we stand with the bigger community. Right now, if we believe that we're alone, we will suffer. But if we believe that there's a strength in the awakened heart that we can rest upon, similar to how Elika was doing the yoga, you know, and she's like, it's so much easier when we have this person on this side, this person on this side. Well, actually, in reality, we do, right? We are holding on to these energies. So prayer, believing in the Sangha, when we really take refuge, are we really taking refuge in the Sangha? You know, all these people who have walked with us, people who are believers in social justice, truth. You know, we know that Dr. King says that in the long run, the arc of the universe bends toward justice. You know, at some point, the truth is revealed. All of this underworld, it can't stay like this. We naturally ascend. It ascends. Energy ascends. It's always seeking a way out to healing, to clarity, to wisdom. So in that, I find tremendous resiliency. And I share these stories because they're where I remember my own capacity. They told the stories as an act of, this is what you can read to inspire yourself. Great teachers leave these maps behind to inspire the next generation, right? They leave their words behind. Harriet Tubman's story is out right now for a reason, right? You know, they're trying to put her on a $20 bill. I mean, that's that's madness in one way. But you see, the spirit of Harriet's out right now. She's like, the movies are being made, people are talking about her, like her energy. Our ancestors come back and they're trying to be like guiding, and we can find hope in that, love in that, courage in that part. So that's one area. Ancestors, I call upon you and stand humbly in your shoes to navigate these moments of uncertainty. and to respond with love and wisdom, right? That's the key. I don't respond with violence and hatred. That's the old paradigm. As much as I would love to, respond to some of this madness, it this is an act of love, teaching people, coming together. So I love that so many are online listening. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this resiliency, the ability to withstand difficulties, recover, rebound, right? Learn the lessons, new ways of thinking, new ways of tackling problems, new ways of responding, right? We have to come up with new ideas now. The new jobs are here. They look different now. 30 million people lost their job. What are we going to do now? There's something new is trying to be born, right? What are the new jobs? What are the new systems? So this is also part of the resiliency, the heart. Like what are we doing with our time now, right? What are we doing? So there's 5 areas that I would really like to talk about with you all. And the first one is about the self-awareness piece. These are aspects of becoming resilient. Awareness, right? Becoming self-aware. And this is what we're doing at EBMC. We had a beautiful morning meditating, doing movement with Elika. Awareness, right? We have to listen. We have to be in tune with ourselves in order to be guided. Because there's something guiding the ship here that's beyond me. I keep trying to steer it, and it's like it's smacking my hands, right, Jocelyn? It's like you stay over here, and it's like we're on a force of something, and I'm like, let me steer. But every time I steer, I just run into a roadblock. I hit a tree. So I'm like, okay, universe, I get it. You want to ride, you're the driver. Okay, we all thought we were steering. That was kind of part of the illusion before all this too. So my hands are smacked. I'm tied. Okay, surrender. My job is to be self-aware and listen to the guidance, listen to the present moment, and be willing to pivot as new information's arising moment to moment. Have you noticed that? It's like new ideas in this moment, new ideas in the next moment, right? And we have to be self-aware so we can hear them. It says go left, I gotta go left. And so maybe the day before it said go right, and now I'm like, okay, well, right is not happening. Okay, it is left now, right? So being self-aware and allows you to be willing to surrender in to this process of living right now, right? There's this period of time is an acceleration of something. Acceleration of the great turning, Joanna Macy, my dearest, most beloved teacher, says this is the period of the great turning. It's happening, right? One system is collapsing, the new system is being born. It goes into a chaotic state. And then, this is how empires fall and rise. Something new has to come out. But we got to stay resilient in the midst of it because we're sort of, on the ship as it's doing what it's doing. So you've got to practice. We have had to practice. So day longs like this, a daily practice, the yoga, join Elika on her Blissful Bodies movement, classes, come to EBMC classes all the time. There's beautiful things. EBMC is not closed. It's churning it out. Go on the website, nightly Zoom programs. All these people, Spirit Rock, all these communities that you're connected to, they're still going. We got to plug into them because without the awareness piece, what will happen is we'll fall into the panic and despair because it's so strong right now. And I know this. In a lot of ways, I'm talking, preaching to the choir. Okay, so I want to talk. Somebody sent a beautiful message, and I want to read this. So it's just so for the ASL interpreters, I'm reading the one that was just put forward on the iPad to everyone, and so I'll read it very slowly. It says, please, spring, speak to the many, many people who are suffering so much more than those of us listening to your talk, who are not getting through this. Please don't, let's pretend we are all middle class and first world. How do we respond to that suffering that is so profoundly connected to wealth we have in our lives? It takes a lot of exploitation of our brothers and sisters in order to create the wealth to support the middle class in the first world. Please think beyond the bubble of our relatively well-resourced class experience. So I think we want to just take that in for a moment, because that's actually a beautiful truth right there, that there is this huge disparity. And how do I speak to that? Okay, so first to say that one of my biggest places where I feel the most hurt, it comes when I have an obsession with Brazil. And I go and watch Brazil because their president, I think, is maybe more difficult than ours. I do think that. And I look at all the people living in the slum areas and all those families. And so this is really true, that our problems, we're able to have a home, we're able to be online all day, we're able to connect, we're able to fundraise, right? This is amazing, and there's tremendous blessing in that. And we're all interconnected in the suffering of others. This is what samsara is, though, guys. The samsara means the endless wandering. We are all in the samsaric state, right? And some of us are in it in one way, and some of us are in it in another. And there is going to be a lot of lives lost this year. And I can speak to this, but I don't know how to stop it. And all I can do is be with it. This is all I can do, is just be with it. And so I want to say a little bit more about being with it. Okay. So all I can do for all of us is what we're doing is try to serve, try to open, try to love. So my mind, I'm going to give you guys one of my best tools here. My mind is very childish, right? So if I try to process something in my mind, I just scream and go to pieces. So what I have to do is bring it down into my heart. My heart can hold this problem of the amount of death and pain that we are about to head into. It's like this for countries that are Africa, Asia, certain parts of the world, they have no capacity to handle this tsunami that's coming, of economics, of health care system. And so what is being asked of us who are witnessing that? We are witnessing something, right? We have to hold space for that. But my mind can't. That's when I go to Netflix and chocolate, right? I can't literally absorb that amount of dukkha. That's suffering on a scale that I don't want to see. I can't be with. I don't know how to fix it. I can't fix it. These are due to causes and conditions that are so vast, that I don't know how to fix that. So all I can do as a loving person is let my heart open to it. So I bring the problem, this beautifully worded thing is, how do we respond to our brothers and sisters? I bring all of it into my heart because my heart has deep roots. My heart can expand to hold that. My mind cannot. My mind goes to crumbles. It's a first grader. Not even first grade. It's it's not even preschool. It just screams, right? But I bring it down. And that's what I've been trying to do. And that's why rooting in our body is like, my heart can hold this. It has to hold it. There's no choice but to hold it, because this is what's happening. And I don't know any other way to be resilient than to call on my heart, because my heart, the roots are so connected. All of our hearts are. Your heart is way stronger than the mind. The mind, it can't. But the heart, it's like the capacity. So that's what we have to do. And we know that we're connected to the exploitation because everything's connected to everything. Everything's how we live. Greed, hatred, and delusion, we're all enmeshed in the samsaric swimming pool of it all, right? Everything is connected to everything. Some people may have, more of responsibility based on their positions of power, obviously. But for all of us that are on this call, we're seeking to reduce suffering. We want to be free. We care. And so the only response that I have in this moment, if I look realistically, is to just be with the truth of that statement. So thank you for writing that. All I can do is just breathe it in and breathe it out and call on the ancestors and try to make myself a vehicle of wisdom and compassion, to carry the lamp. If this is the darkness, then I've got to carry the lamp. I can't eradicate that suffering that's going on over the world. How can I stop it? It's impossible, impossible, right? But I can open to it, and that's what's being called. That somehow we have to bear witness, right, to what is unfolding globally. And I think that that's what's being asked of you. Don't shut down. Don't shut down. Just keep staying open. And then that openness will be led to be able to respond in different ways. We can have a sane response, and which hopefully isn't contributing to the problem, which is we're trying to reduce the amount of despair. But no one person can stop this. This is a global issue. This is so far, this is like the universe is steering here, right? And karmic seeds are ripening. Is happening, and these seeds have been planted a long time ago, and they're planted in the present moment. But all we can do is be present and be a witness. And brown people are dying at a faster rate. Brown people are suffering. The division in the country is so painful right now. It hurts to be a brown woman in this country for myself. I feel it. I didn't even plan to be in America right now. I was going to be in South America, So for me, it's taken me right back into the spot. I tried to get out of it. Like, bye, everybody. I'm Peruvian now, see ya, and now I'm here too. Now I've got to hold a piece of it and navigate. And so we have to hold the truth of that brown people are dying at a huge, even in this country. It's the Navajo Nation. I watched a video about that and it just broke my heart. So I ask you, Dharma friends, we have to hold that, and not shut down. And that's all anybody can ask you to do right now. Because that's the only thing you can do, is just put it in the heart chakra and just we breathe. And so today we're going to do some Tonglen, where we just take all of that in and then we breathe it all out. We just keep expanding. The key is not to shut down. There are some factors out of our control, and we only can control what we have right here in this moment. And for some of you, you may feel like the people on the call that they might want me to say something else, but I can't, because all I can do is put it in my heart. I'm with you. I feel that. We can, so big. And that's part of the growing edge, is how do we keep being resilient in the face of what is to come, and the beauty that will come and the sorrows that will come. Is this all landing for you all? Arisika has had her hand up for a while, so I would like to, Arisika Razak, who's a beautiful teacher at CIIS, on the call. Let's go ahead and let you ask that question, Arisika. You might have a lot of wisdom too. So.
No, this was an error. You had asked for hands up or something else, and I put my hand up way, way, way back.
Okay, so you clicked on your thing. Do you have anything you want to add? You're very wise now that I have you on the line.
So what I want to say, I want to come back to what you say, is that we stand in the footsteps of the ancestors and those who trailblazed the path for us, and that we are called not to avert our eyes from suffering, but to grow in discernment and wisdom and boundary holding, so that we can look on it. And in any way, for each of us, our response to the suffering that is both of others and in our own heart is different. So some of us are on the front lines dealing with food for the homeless.
Yes.
Some of us are, signing petitions or on the front lines in terms of being hospital workers and at the risk of our own lives serving others. So I think the answer to that question is there are as many ways to step forward. And some of that is sitting in the quiet of your home and your heart and offering prayers. And some of it is taking action. And at any moment, we are able to do either end and everything in between. So I think, Spring, what you said was so wise. We look at the capacity of our own hearts and we enlarge that capacity. And we look in discernment at our own minds. What are we called to be? Who are we called to ally with in these moments? What boundaries are we reaching across? As humans, I want to think about the original instruction. We are called to make family of the stranger, to have ceremony, to make relation. All of us are one human species. What happens in the Brazilian favelas, what happens in the sweatshop, what happens in the inner cities, all those are part of every one of us. And this is the time more than any that we need to speak up and answer to that. COVID got a lot of headlines because it happened in the developed world, the so-called developed world.
You're up first. Yes.
The suffering of children and women, the dying that has been happening for decades, stopped making headlines except for nonprofits. So now we see this web of interconnection. And I want to say the image that came to me through part of your meditation was, that I'm 71. I have been a trailblazer. And now it is time that other people step up and trailblaze the path. I am walking with the people and you are moving forward. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, Arisika, that was no mistake that you clicked on that. that you're getting my attention. I thank you for your words. And there's other elders who might be on here who have wisdom to share. I invite you to just respond if you have something, because this is it. We're bearing witness, and I have really called on the great spirits and the ancestors, Harriet being one of them, the Tibetan communities being one of those teachers, those yogis and great lamas who died on their journey and who held the Dharma in the last moment, all of it, my ancestors, all of our ancestors. I feel like they're alive to show us the way here, and our goal in our practice has to be to keep opening, keep being willing to show up like you're all here. There's 175 of us here. If we stand strong, right? And we say, okay, we're gonna be here, we're gonna bear witness to whatever this is nobly, and we're gonna do what we can and keep opening the heart, knowing some days we'll collapse and other days we'll feel strong and other days we'll be inspired and some days we'll dance and other days we'll be crying, and then, but there's nothing to do but just be present in our values, right? I don't know another way, and that's where we'll find the resiliency. The resiliency has to be the heart, right? Because my mind is, like I said, it's not helping that much. It's this in my body and feeling guided by something. And maybe it's the ancestors steering the boat, the universal, and I don't know, but I have to just bow down to that. Okay, so oh man, it's so good to be with you all and see your faces. And I know we have to get breaking for lunch, and I'm just scrolling through all the faces and seeing everyone. And I know we're in the deep end of the ocean. There's no getting around that. You can't show up on a call like this and get anything but we weren't going to just do mindfulness practice like nothing's going on. There's stuff going on. And so I'm just looking at everyone and sending you all love. And so we're about to have a little lunchtime break right now. It's 12:30, right, Candy? We're doing lunch now. Okay, so what I would like for us to do, there's so many brilliant comments being expressed So let's keep reading through the chat, everybody. And if you have questions, let's do a Q&A after lunch, and we can kind of dive into this, like, how do we really stay resilient, and how do we support our communities, and how do you stay in the heart? These are our practices. How do we stay strong? And I think this will be so great for also Master Ellis to be leading us through these like power positions, you know, and we'll be like, we'll have that. We'll do another rooted meditation. So it's going to be good. Come back after lunch. We're just getting started. Okay, so I'm going to let Candy take over with any announcements or any words.
Thank you so much, Spring, and thank you, Sangha.
All right, everybody. Well, we are going to go into meditation now. So if you want, you can change your background. Let's take a moment or two to get comfortable. And there's lots of love on the chat for you and asking about your classes. So we will post all that. You'll be able to stay in touch with both Master Ellis and Elika. These are why we have these beautiful teachers at EVMC, everybody. Okay. Take a moment, get situated. We're going to do a 30-minute meditation, and we're going to really incorporate the elements that we just so beautifully brought in, the earth, the water. Each one has a profound teaching for us right now. The water flowing, can we flow with the change? Can we root down in the earth? The air, the new ideas, I love that. And the fire, we need some fire too right now to get it all started. So beautiful. Just getting ready there. Lots of gratitude for you. And there we are, back in the. Okay, so finding your posture wherever you are. We're gonna start. This will be our root down elements. It's so great to do this right after. So finding your breath, and I always like to use the same type of imagery. The body is like a mountain, the breath is the breeze, and the mind open like the sky, right? So we want to root down, body as the mountain, breath as the breeze, mind open, spacious like the sky. And so wherever you are, just begin to go within as you close your eyes and feeling the body. Notice if the body feels light or heavy. As you begin to find some stillness, and that stillness is that rootedness, like being on the earth and being still in your posture, still in the mind. Again, coming back to using your breath as the anchor. Find your breath. I always say this mantra, find your breath, then you find your body, and through there you find the present moment. Breath, body, presence. If thoughts come, we just notice them arising. You can label it thinking, thank you, coming back to the breath, and we just keep coming back. Rooting down in the present moment. We'll practice in this way. And for the last few moments of our sitting, let's do some metta practice, compassion practice, focused on ourselves. And so now bring your attention to the heart area and just notice what you're feeling. Does the heart feel open, or does it feel closed, or is there hardness there? Just bring your breath right into the heart. Imagine that your breath is just flowing straight out of the center, the heart chakra. Often it's depicted as green in color and the chakra wheel growing. Always green represents growth. And as you feel into your heart, just starting to just say kind things, wishing your heart well. May this heart be happy and peaceful. May this beautiful heart be safe and protected. May I be healthy and strong. Maybe you put your hand on your heart, or you touch your hand in some way, or just really, really evoking that softness. It's the time to listen to the heart now. So we want to be attuning. It has its own language. It's always trying to get our attention. So may this heart be well.
I'll have it later. Thank you. It's chicken, sir?
Yeah, and there's some chips there.
Okay.
May I be happy and peaceful. Or you could say to yourself an image, may you be happy and peaceful. Any kind words for the last few moments as practice of care to this heart that's holding so much right now. All of our hearts holding all the sorrows of the world, all the joys of the world. May this heart be healthy and strong. May my whole body be healthy and strong. May I live with ease and joy and well-being with whatever arises. However it is in this moment, may I be at ease. May my heart be at ease. Just this moment, just this breath. And then let's imagine the heart is expanding. We're going to do some Tong Lin for a couple of moments before we end. And then to tradition, there's enormous power. The mind is the heart. There's no up there. It's just the mind heart. Rest right in the chest, right here. So we want to imagine now that all of us are experiencing all this fear. So let's breathe in all of the fear, and we breathe it in. Imagine that it's smoke. And we just imagine breathing in the collective fear. And then this is just metaphorical, but we're breathing it all in, the fear in our family, in our bodies, in ourselves, in the community in Oakland and America and the globe. You just breathe it in the heart chakra on the in breath, breathing it in as gray smoke. And then as we're going to breathe out, it's transmitting out as golden light. And then we'll breathe it in again. All the terror and the fear all over this earth. And we breathe it in and then breathing it out. Imagine that it's transmuted out as golden light, almost like the sunlight, the rays, and we're breathing it out. Now let's breathe in all the sorrows, the sadness, and the grief. We're breathing it, the collective, taking it in through the heart chakra. There's gray smoke on the in-breath. And then as we breathe it out as healing light, golden light. And take a couple of breaths like that, breathing in the fear, breathing in the sorrow, the collective, and then breathing out as golden light, translucent light, radiant light, clear light, rainbow light on the out breath. Notice how your body feels as you take these breaths in and you transmute. See if you notice the body feels lighter. Breathing it in the families and our ancestors, fear, sorrow, grief, despair. Breathe out golden rainbow light on the out breath. This is one of the most powerful Tibetan practices. They do it in times of plagues, times of war. They breathe it in, transmuting it. Fear, sorrow, rage, breathing the rage in through the heart. The heart can hold it and it can alchemize it. It's more powerful than any other force in this world. Soul force, heart force. Breathing it in as smoke, gray smoke, breathing it out as light. You might feel the heart start moving or pulsating or even vibration. Couple more. All the collective energy, confusion, breathing it in, the heart chakra, breathing it in. Breathing it out as clarity, wisdom, rainbow light, gold light, sunlight. We are solar beings. We are energetic beings. We are powerful. We can activate this force of love. It's the universal principles. It's the essence of all that is. Breathing it in one more time, a big breath. Fear, confusion, sorrow. Out as light. Rainbow, golden light. Noticing the effect on the body. With each breath, you might feel pulsating or sense of lightening the load energetically. Activating the heart, the global heart. The heart that's always there, the truth that's hidden behind the clouds. There's three things that cannot be hidden for long. My favorite quote, the sun, the moon, and the truth. So we just allow that energy. And as we come to the close, just bringing your hands in the prayer position right at the heart center. We bow to our own capacity, our presence in this moment. For the Sangha, we bow, the great Sangha of all the awakened beings, those that operate with the energy of the heart. They walk with the heart. They follow the path of the heart. They live for the benefit of all beings, angels, celestial beings, guides, earth protectors, bodhisattvas. We call on you, Buddhas in every direction. Help us find these resilient heart roots for the benefit of all beings everywhere. Hear our prayers, healing all beings everywhere with this heart medicine prayer. Activating all hearts, touching all hearts, calling on all hearts to rise, awaken, be free, connecting to this. Om Mani Padme Hum. Deep bows as we share that blessing of that prayer. And I give thanks to all of you for sharing in this moment. Yes, for sharing in this moment.